host of the Storytellers Showcase, where we bring you good stories by great tellers. Well, we'll see about today because it's me. If you'd like to be on the show, we film in Auburn. If you'd like links to more of our programs, please email me. I'd love to hear from you. This story takes place a long time ago in the land of China. Now, up on the hill in this land of China was a palatial mansion surrounded by walled gardens. It was amazing. In a land of poor rice farmers, it really stood out. You see, the richest family of this one province had a son, and the richest family of the adjacent province had a daughter. And the two had their marriage arranged, of course. Well, these two lived there now. The parents have long since passed, and all of that wealth now belongs to this couple who live, starting into their old age on this beautiful palace on the hill. There was a tavern at the bottom of the hill in the little town, and in the tavern there were all kinds of people, and there was a group of people that, well, I don't want to say they weren't the nicest people in the world, but they were the kind of people that if they found something that wasn't nailed down, they might just help themselves to it. They were those kind of people that made their way in the world however they could. And these fellows drinking their rice wine, enjoying their evening together, and one of them had enough rice wine that he said to himself, I'm going to go up the hill. I'm going to see if I can get over the walls into that property. And I'm going to see if I can help myself to some of the gold and some of the silver. You see, this was before banks, when if you wanted to have something nice, you kept it and you took care of it yourself. So the other bandit kind of guys said, there's no way. There's no way you could get in there, and if you got in, there's no way you could survive the servants and the guards. Don't even think about it. Well, after a couple more glasses of rice wine, he decided that was the thing to do, and he went on up the hill towards the house. Unbeknownst to him, a few days earlier, the master of the house called in his servant Po. They had been together for 20 years. They were way more like brothers than master and servant, but still, when the master said, Po did. And the master said to Po, we need something to while away these long, dark winter evenings that are about to come. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take this bag of gold pieces, and I want you to go find a storyteller. Find a master storyteller. And I want you to learn a great story from this master storyteller and bring it to us so we can tell it to each other during these long, candlelit evenings in the winter. Well, Po didn't know anything about stories or storytellers, but he would never disappoint his master, and so he took the bag of gold pieces and he went down the road. And he went down the road not knowing where or how to find a master storyteller. He decided to head toward the nearest village. He could ask around there. On his way to the nearest village, there were rice farmers flooding their fields, their rice paddies. And as he was walking along, one such rice farmer said, good day, and Po said, good day, and nice day for your travels, and where are you going? So Po stopped a moment to rest and told the story to the rice farmer. Well, the rice farmer also didn't know anything about storytelling or storytellers, but he did know something about a sack of gold pieces. So the rice farmer said to Po, you, my friend, are in luck. This is your day for good fortune because I just happen to be a master storyteller. And I just happen to have a great story that I could share with you. You see, I'm just watching this field for a friend of mine. I'm not really a poor rice farmer. I'm a storyteller. And Poe, oh my gosh, he was so happy at his good fortune. Here, the first person I've talked to is just the person I was heading out for who knows how long a journey to find. And so Poe sat down with his bag of gold pieces at his side to hear and learn the story to take back to his master. Well, the rice farmer, as I said, didn't know anything about stories or storytelling. Just about that time, a beautiful crane came down with its wide wings and its long legs. Beautiful crane came and landed in the rice paddy. And so the rice farmer said to Poe, he said, "Look, here he comes now." So Poe's memorizing, "Look, here he comes now. Look, here he comes now." And after a bit, the crane started walking toward them on those long, spindly legs, looking as if it was looking for a fish or something in the water. And so the rice farmer said to Poe, "Here he comes now, closer and closer with each step." And then the crane stopped, looking. So the rice farmer says, "Now he stops, he looks, he listens." And Poe's memorizing now. He stops, he looks, he listens. Now he stops. And then the rice farmer saw the crane turn, run a few steps on its spindly legs, and take off with those mighty wings, fly away. And so he says to Poe, "There, he turns, he runs, he flies away, never to return." So Poe's memorizing, turns, runs, flies away, never to return. Then there's a long silence. And Poe finally breaks the silence and says, "Is that all there is?" And the rice farmer says, "What more could there be?" Well, Poe doesn't understand, but then he didn't expect to understand. And so, but he's got it. He's got the story, and he wants to get back to his master before he forgets it to tell him. So he gives the rice farmer the bag of gold pieces and goes back home. And when he gets back home, the master is so surprised to see him back so soon. And Poe tells him of his good fortune and the master storyteller and the story. And so the master and his wife sit down, and Poe tells them the story. They don't understand it, but then they didn't really expect to understand it. And he tells it to them a few times until the master and his wife know the story. Well, it was time for them to enjoy their story. So one dark winter evening, the master of the house lit all the candles and lamps. He put his wife's chair, her favorite chair, just so. And he dressed. He dressed in his finest silk robes, his finest silk hat, groomed his beard, and he came out to tell the story to his wife, not knowing that there was a bandit coming up the road ready to climb over the garden wall. And so the bandit came up, and he found his place, and he climbed up a vine, and he climbed over the garden wall, and there he was, inside the garden wall, just outside the house. And at that point, the master was telling the story to his wife. And what the bandit heard out in the garden was, "Look, here he comes now." What kind of sorcery is this? What kind of madness? I don't see anybody. And yet, well, he had enough rice wine in him that wasn't going to stop him. And so he kept going towards the house. And then he heard this voice. Sounded like it came from everywhere. And the voice said, "Ah, here he comes, closer now, step by step." Bandit was shocked, terrified, so in wonder. Then he heard the big voice from, sounded like everywhere, and the voice said, "Now he stops, he looks, he listens." That was enough for the bandit. He turned and ran to get over that garden wall and get out of there, but not before hearing the last phrase of the story when the master said, "Ah, now he turns, he runs, he flies away, never to return." And you know, from that day to this, that palatial home on the hill has never been bothered by bandits. Which just goes to show you and me the value of a good story well told.